guys, how are we doing today? It's just me today, as you can see, and a plethora of fun electronic boxes. I'm going to turn my Raspberry Pi 4 into a cloud storage system with plans to eventually make it so I can access it outside the home network. Although I've never done anything like this before, so it'll be an adventure. Today I have a Raspberry Pi 4, 4 gig, 32 gigs of storage on the SD card. I've already put it together. Is this little cool black box, and it comes with some coolers that you can attach to the Raspberry and a little fan. It's very nice. One of the reasons I wanted to do this is that way I have just a self-contained cooling unit. And maybe I can try to overclock it and get a little bit more speed out of it that way. I opted with a 200 watt power supply here, just a little guy. Opted for this because the hard drives will need an external power source because they are the 3.5 inch power hard drives, and rather than use the extra power supply I have in the garage, which is much larger, I thought this might help keep the build a little cleaner at least. This only has 3 SATA connectors, but I have some adapters to turn the 4 prongs into SATA. It should be more than enough power to power everything here. Although the Raspberry, of course, comes with its own plug. And the Kana kit comes with a little power adapter or power portion as well. Just hooks onto the end of your power supply there. So the idea being that, I'm gonna set this all up inside of my hard drive rack, which is a 5-stack hard drive rack here. I was originally just going to kind of try to build my own thing, but I saw this. It seemed like an easy way to make this build relatively clean, and this was $40, $30. Pretty nice. So the hard drives should just pretty much slot and screw right into this bad boy. And then I should have room to put my Raspberry Pi down here maybe, and maybe attach the power supply on the top. I don't know. It's the first time I've opened it, so we'll see what happens here. Oh, we even have a motherboard connection right there. That's interesting. Comes with a little fan to help keep those drives cool. I think this was a good call. I'll put that right over there. Always save the documentation, or at least that's my theory, at least until everything's said and done. So in order to make this build work, I got some USB 3 to SATA adapters here, which actually come with their own power supply as well, which is pretty handy. Comes with their own adapter from the 4-prong to the SATA, and a little USB cord and a SATA cord. And the actual converter is this guy right here. Little itty bitty thing. Let's see if I can get this open. Gotta be smarter than the packaging. Alright, so it looks like it has a little light here. My USB is gonna plug in right there, and then go into my Raspberry Pi. And the SATA is going to plug in on the other side and go into my hard drive. So this already has Raspbian set up on it, and just like so. So it'll be fun to experiment with this. Like I said, I haven't done this before, so I'm going to document it as closely as I can for you guys, so you can be part of the process as much as possible. I don't plan on recording the whole thing because I'm just not that great at editing yet, and so I'd rather take pictures of everything I do and provide it to you here in this episode. Let's see. So the another thing I grabbed because I'm gonna do 4 of these drives. The Raspberry only has 4 USB ports, and I kind of want to be able to access 1 or 2 of those for a keyboard and mouse potentially if necessary. I grabbed a USB 3.0 hub. Very nice little box here. It's by the Sabrent company. It is a powered USB supply. I figured why tax the poor little Raspberry any more than we have to. And looks like it can actually power on or power off each individual USB port. That's kind of cool. And of course it's power adapter. And yeah, lovely colors there. So it's gonna be more like this connects to that, and then these are gonna connect to that, and they're all gonna sit inside. All the drives are gonna sit inside there. Something along those lines. All right, and so now the core of the build, so to speak. We're gonna look at the hard drives. Open up one of these guys, see what we get. This is a Seagate Barracuda. Pretty nice drive. See if I can't get this tape off here. Oh man, I should have grabbed scissors. What was I thinking? Obviously wasn't thinking. Come on. Oh, I've got my toolkit. Very important to any build you're gonna do. I'm not fancy enough for any of the new iFixit toolkits. This is one that I bought years ago for my personal use, and I've been very happy with it. Though I couldn't tell you the brand anymore. There we go. So these Seagate drives each cost $50 right now at Micro Center. These are 2 terabytes. And the speed isn't super important for what we're doing because we are routing it all through Raspberry Pi 4, which, while admittedly much faster than the previous, that's a word now. Previous renditions of the Raspberries, it is still fairly slow for our purposes, especially in the long term, since I want to make it accessible from the cloud, so to speak. Nice little anti-static bag. Yeah, so there we go. There's the drive. We got our SATA connections. So I'll plug right into there, right into the other side of that, and the whole thing's going to be powered by our 200 watts power supply right there. Perfect. And this is just a personal preference of mine. I wanted to put it on the battery backup. This is actually going to go in our entertainment center to supplement the one that's already connected there. We have a little 375er connected right now, and so we'll probably take the TV and the gaming systems off of that and put it on this 550, and then we'll use that 375 for the router and the switch and our Raspberry Pi here. So I'll go ahead and start doing some of this here. Try to gather my documentation here. What did I do? Alright, let's dedicate one of these boxes to all the important paperwork. You there. Be important. Alright. Oh, and never forget to plan your builds. I use a .grid notebook myself for these kinds of things, which has not saved me trips to Micro Center because I forgot it the first time I went. So I had to go back. Shocking, right? So let's go ahead and install one of these drives, see how it's going to look, and then we'll probably cut it there, and I'll document the process for you guys as I put it all together here. So we have our SATA cord, which is going to plug into our adapter, just like so. There we go. We'll just Looking kind of weird. All right. And our hard drive is going to slot right into our 5-stack hard drive bay here. Again, $40 or $30 at Micro Center. I thought it was a pretty handy deal myself. So, let's see. This looks like it wants some kind of additional bay. That's unfortunate. Means I'll have to go back tomorrow. Yeah. So it looks like this actually wants a bay inserts for the build. That's unfortunate. But that's all right. Did the box actually say that? That's a little disappointing. Let's find out here. We got a 5-bay rack, form factor, 3.5 IDE/SATA drives, a cooling fan, which is pretty awesome. Stackable with nether. It's a toolless screw. Oh, I see. The screws actually. Alright. Let's see. So we're just gonna. Claims to be tools, so we're gonna not use tools. But my fingers are kind of fat, so probably have to use a tool anyway. Oh. There we go. Okay, yeah, and it sticks out just a little bit. I don't know if you guys can actually see that from there, but we'll get it mounted. Oh, that's a fan screw. Gave us some extra fan screws. Nifty. Alright. One side almost done. Oh, did you guys hear that beep? That's my sourdough bread. Almost ready to have the lid taken off so we can crisp it all up. All right. One more screw. See, this is why you save the documentation in boxes and such. Would have been at Micro Center, been like, I need a bay. And they would have been like, you're stupid. Okay. So, looks like, yeah, those should pull right on out, question mark. Yeah. So it's got these little clips on the side, which allow you to put that bay in and out. I'm gonna go and we're back. I'm actually very excited about that bread. I make a sourdough bread with a little starter that I've named Breadistopheles, so I might do an episode on that later. But he's making a cheddar sourdough bread right now, and I'm just hoping it turns out. So we're gonna fit this in just like this, it looks like. So to give you guys a little preview of what we're thinking here, make sure that everybody can see it. So we got our Raspberry Pi down in the bottom there. We're gonna use our 4-port. This is a powered USB port, so I have the power supply for it over there. I went with power to try to take some load off of the Raspberry. Not that there's going to be a lot with just transferring data, but thought I'd play it safe. We have our 200-watt power supply, which should be more than enough to power 4 drives and a fan. And yeah. And then I'm gonna take it to my workstation with the screen and power it up. See where it takes me in life. Oh man, the bread should be done. That's very exciting. All right. So this is the bread that I was making. So the glare is not quite so bad. There we go. You can see the cheese on top there. It's nice and crispy and gorgeous. Looking forward to eating this. Fortunately, I've already eaten dinner, so not starving or anything. Make sure that's right. Come on. There you go. And yeah, these coming with these connectors was a boon. Well, let's connect this one up here actually. Connect that one. Ooh, new plan. So, one of the things that inspired me to do this is that your normal NAS storage system is between, at least what I was looking at was like between $400 and $700. This altogether, I think ran me something similar, and I get to have some fun with it. Let's see here. I have calculated here 304. So, a little cheaper than most of the solutions I was looking at, and it's more fun. So, grab our power cord here. Let's see what it looks like all basically wired up. Obviously, I don't have a screen or power bar here immediately accessible, but this can at least give us a clear idea of what we will be. Come on. Be working with. So this hard drive rack has a power button down here, so we need to make sure to have that on when we start the test. The power supply itself does not have a power connector. Make sure the fan is not facing downward. That seems like a good idea. Probably need to figure out a way to connect this to the top. And as I was saying before, I think most of this can probably just live right in there. Maybe this. For this. A lot more cords than. Get all these up. Connect this somehow right on the side here. Kind of limited. Got a short cord for a powered USB hub. Interesting. Got lots of space here though. Like, honestly, I'm way happier with this than if I tried to build my own solution, I think. Alright guys, so as you can see, I just finished setting up microwave FIDI, and we can get in there, we can access stuff, we can create new files and all that jazz. So she is working. It's very exciting. I think one of the biggest problems we had is I have an extra external drive that I connected to it, and it was being difficult. But after changing some permissions, we finally got it to work. Let's see that there are now network drives on my computer. Very exciting. So I'm gonna make some notes about this, but the files or the websites that I use the most will be in the comments, but I'm gonna show you guys here as well. rickmedia.com, build Raspberry Pi 3 RAID NAS server, was extremely helpful. There are some commands in it that are a little dated, but he's extremely thorough about like which RAIDs are possible, how you're going to want to format things, stuff like that. You see, it tells you how to do it in Ubuntu, Mac, and Windows.
all that jazz. I was having trouble getting my Raspberry to format the drive, so I ended up just plugging them into my Windows computer and formatting them. The next website that I found extremely helpful was the magpie.raspberrypi.org. This is pretty much the same guide. They went about it a little differently. They don't give, this person, whoever wrote this, doesn't give you the option of different raids. They just give you raid 1 here. But I was able to, anything that I felt was incomplete on the other website, they covered in more detail, an example being some of these Samba permissions helped me troubleshoot a couple of the problems I was having as we were putting this together. Alright, so I don't know what just happened there, but my mic decided to turn off, so welcome back. I'm not entirely sure what I had left off on, but basically I was just sharing the various websites I'd used. I think I'd gotten to the Samba website, which was extremely helpful for figuring out some of the Samba permissions that were giving us trouble, and then the last one that I used was this lifewire.com website that had a fairly in-depth how to use the chmod command, which was needed to help me get the external drive straightened back out. You can see here's a list of the various websites I had used. Ooh, words. So I'm going to post this in the comments so everybody has access to it and they don't have to go searching all around the internet like I did. Yeah, and then we're going to go check out the actual system here in just a sec.